change the tides quite a bit. But our tides are, you know, about 8 feet, maybe 6 feet.
8.
Yeah. So it's not trivial. There's some good, you get some nice low tides, good clamming in certain areas, and great intertidling in some areas, right? We've probably all explored the rocks, and my favorite area is near Clark Point, but I didn't want to do that up there. This up there because it's a lot of algae, and I didn't know if there would be a lot of teenagers, kids, or whatever. And it's very easy to step on rock crabs through the algae because you really can't see anything. And so I have found going there that it's, you know, you have to be very careful in the intertidal. And so I'm also really respectful of even a rocky intertidal like this because, you know, there's a lot of critters under rocks that aren't stable. And as soon as you step on the rocks, you know, you crush the little shore crabs underneath. Some of the animals are very resilient and can get away. And many of the rocks are stable so you can walk on rocks. But inevitably, if you get a big crowd doing beach tours, you're going to affect the ecosystem. So that's just the way it is. You want to enjoy it, you try to protect it as much as you can.
You move this thing so you can park,
in San Francisco, they used to close areas off to the university students because they were so impacted because there's so many people up there. So. Yeah, there's no children here. I don't have to go through oh, maybe I do, but you know, when you're in the intertidal, picking up rocks and putting them down, I notice when I go clamming out by Peng Cove, a lot of people come there and they just take the rocks, or they just throw them over to the side, and then they never go to put them back. Or like with kids, I notice what they really like to do is pick the biggest rock and get 9 people to pull this giant thing up, and then see nothing, they just let it drop. And that can be really hard on the creatures that live on the underside. And then the third thing people do is turn the rock over to go look at things, and then they may put it back, which is great, but they put it back upside down. And so the animals that really wanted to be on top of the rock are now upside down. And it might take a while for that limpet to eke out of there and get back up top. So those are the main things that it's fun to explore, but just, you know, respect your intertidal. So. Do you guys have any questions about, you just would like to go to the beach and look around? You ever find stuff you don't know what it is? All right, so I brought some containers. So there's most of the things that you're going to see on the Guinas beaches. It's not, I have found some very cool things here, but it's not my favorite intertidal place. It's, if you've gone to Vancouver Island on the west coast, stellar. It's beautiful. Botanical gardens are giant tide pools. But here, I'm actually surprised at how much we do see. We see nudibranchs, the pretty little orange and white spotted slugs, so marine slugs. You see a lot of different kind of snails. We saw a stubby squid under some rocks. Octopus, you know, giant Pacific octopus.
We saw about a 4-foot one here a few months ago.
Yeah, alive?
Dead.
Dead, yeah.
On the wash up on the beach.
Yeah. Well, the one thing when you're in a really low tide like Juneau, when the tide is out, a big tide, you'll have red king crab up on, they can't move when they're out of the water. They'll just be lying up because there's not a lot of people grabbing them either. They'll be out on the shore, and same with back in California, abalone on a low tide. So there's a lot of animals that are very low tide that you'll never see until these maybe twice a year when the tide's really far out, like this week has been really good. So let's just go down in the water, and if anyone wants something like this, if you find something that you don't know, you can put it in here. Most of the things on the Guinas beaches are pre-attached. Limpets, chitons, all of those things. You don't need to take those off. But if you saw, like, sometimes that kind of swirl of water, you'll get some weird little shrimp that like to be on algae, and that kind of thing. So if anyone wants one of these, I'm a teacher, so raise your hand. If not, I'm going to put them back here. I'll take one. What the heck? Here they will. And so, you know, like if you're a commercial fisherman, you don't go fishing on the rocky points for Dungeness crab. Fishermen know where the animals are. Well, if I'm collecting animals, which I used to do in birds, you go to where the animals are, and you usually go to where they're allowed to live. So these barnacles, you're not going to find sea stars up here unless someone's collected and thrown them on the beach. You're not going to find Dungeness crab walking up. You find little baby ones sometimes. Not way up high. So the really high tides, right, mid-tide you're going to find a lot more different creatures, and the very low tide you're going to find a lot more diversity. You'll find some interesting animals that really don't like to be dry at all. Now these guys, I'm amazed at barnacles. They really are fascinating. Little crustaceans. They're larvae. They produce so many larvae that feed so much of the ecosystem here. Kathy, wasn't there an oceanographer that's going to be here?
I'm not, yes, Randy Schumann.
Okay.
I don't know where, I think he was moving his boat because it was going to get really windy.
Okay, so now I can say
I'm
stuff
not
about
sure
oceanography and be wrong and not be like, someone's going to say, that's not right. I'm not an oceanographer, but I do study ocean acidification and how it affects a lot of the critters out here. So if you have questions about that too.
So how often do these guys have to be inundated in order to live there?
Every day.
Twice a day?
Yeah, at least twice a day, but every day for sure, because these guys can be dry for a little bit. An octopus can stay out of water. In fact, I used to collect invertebrates. It's better for them, if you're going to collect them, to put them in a damp rag than it is to put them in water. So a lot of animals, like crabs, better to put them in a damp environment than in water, because they will use up all the oxygen and then they will asphyxiate. So an octopus can be out on alive for 4 hours, but then it likes it when the water comes back.
So it doesn't...
Yeah, so things that I look for up here are like things like little pseudoscorpions that like to be moist, but they don't like to be in the water and they don't move very well. So they like to be up top. Mites, pseudoscorpions, barnacles, some limpets. But then as you go lower, there's going to be different types of barnacles. So, you know, it's all a competition of where animals get to live, and these guys do great.
I like watching them climb up the dolphins by the ferry.
What are the dolphins? Oh,
The posts.
Yeah.
Because you can see
too.
just exactly how high they can possibly go, and they'll go...
And you can see those white anemones, you know, how far they will go,
right,
and there's going to be some that are going to be better than others at like, and the same with all of us.
Yeah.
We're all a little bit different. So mind your step on all the algae. There's a lot of different types here, and a lot of animals like to live under the what's called sea lettuce, or the bigger blades. So I look for isopods and little shrimp. It provides them, like, this is the damp cloth that you might put around an octopus. So an octopus probably would find some little crevice to be in. And the stubby squid we found was not under a rock. It was nestled way into a rock.
Like how big was it?
Little. Yeah, they're little. So yeah, up here, the shore crabs are pretty happy. They're little, you know, almost under any rock. Oh, hello.
Yeah. Oh, green one.
Yeah. And these ones probably are eating a lot more algae. I'm gonna get my awful fingernails. There. But yeah, these are really, really hardy little crabs, and they're very good at getting into the crevices. So
Something's spinning out there or something.
here, this, I think this is just moving.
Oh, it's just moving.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are, sometimes you see these, that's just a little small crab, but there's pseudoscorpions here that look like little scorpions, but they're about this big, so you might see them. And then there's red mites that you might see. They look like little tiny micro red king crab, but you have to have a little microscope. What's that? They're,
I might hurt you.
they are of the same family, so they're under the well, now insects or crustaceans, chelicerates, which are the things with the little biting things, spiders, chelicerates, and scorpions. And so they're in that group. They're pretty nice to look at under not a microscope, but a dissecting scope. You can see all their parts, and they're really interesting.
And what do they eat?
They are going to graze on almost anything that's attached to this algae, like single cell organisms like diatoms and like a lot of things are, if you were to rinse that and then have a real microscope, there's a lot of little critters living in there. I'd say critters, but they're single cell things, diatoms, which are
So really small stuff.
really small stuff, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I'm always impressed with how much what all these crabs are eating too. They're eating lots of little small stuff. And the small stuff isn't necessarily plankton or larvae, it's just diatoms and I'm trying to think of all the weird things. But like when you have a, you know, the paralytic shellfish poisoning, those are due to little tiny single-cell organisms. And if you get a lot of those dying and they mat out, and then they'll just start eating everything. But yeah, I thought we'd kind of walk towards this way. Let's see. This is actually habitat for baby Dungeness crab. So there's one thing we have a lot of is Dungeness crab around here, and on a really good low tide you'll find lots of their molts, so just the shells. But they'll take this as habitat, and I think environmentally, when people put in a lot of structure, they can take out a lot of eelgrass bed, and up in Alaska they're starting to do transplantation because it looks like it's anti-erosion, it's habitat for lots of little creatures that juvenile fish eat, and when you think about juvenile fish, you think of salmon, so all the way up to orcas, right? So a lot of important habitat and animals live in the eelgrass.
So obviously when the water comes back in, this stuff stands up.
It stands straight up.
Yeah.
It's, if you ever are a snorkeler, you can go here on a mid-tide and it's actually pretty neat to look around. The bottoms, someone did a study at Friday Harbor. These are plants, not algae, and they actually are rooted in there. And there's a lot of little clams. They're little clams called Macoma. I don't know, they're Baltic clams. We don't eat them, but they live there and they produce a lot of you know, well, they eat and carbon dioxide, and those grasses take up the carbon dioxide in there, and it's important for them. The eelgrass that have the clams in them do a lot better than those that don't. So basically, when you are taking all this out, you're also taking a lot of the clam habitat out as well. So again, you know, there's always a trade-off. If you want to eat clams and go clamming, you're going to disrupt the ecosystem. There's a certain amount that environment can take, but if you're really taking away all these eelgrass beds, you're really getting rid of some good, important habitat.
The baby clams are here. I think of clamming as what we do in a sandy beach.
Yeah.
So they migrate from here?
No. These are little tiny clams that are that's how big they get. They're called Macoma baltica.
Oh, okay.
So it's a species of clams that just lives in there, really tiny. But yeah, when you go clamming,
Like
who likes to go clamming?
that guy there.
This guy, yeah. So these guys, fun to eat. I don't eat those in the spring, but some people do. The cockles, bigger. Razor clams you're not going to find here. I have. You know, when you want to go to razor clams, you go to the ocean. So there's very specific habitat that each species likes. And so a lot, like cockles will live amongst like a rocky thing like this, but this is a remnant of one. Not a cockle, this is a, butter. Do you know, this isn't the horse clam. This is Saxodomus. This is what we call the one that has the highest levels of PSP. But anyway, yeah, clams are pretty cool. Horse. Oh man! And there are horse clams here. Yeah, basically when you step and get something to sit, you know, you'd be surprised how fast they are. You can't really dig a lot of them. You cannot get them. I mean, some people have those big suction things. I'm not a fan, but they do work.
Yeah.
Yeah, a different kind. That is. That looks like a. This is it's not the manila. Oh my god. You know this one? This is a very common one. It's not the manila clam, but it's Protothecus salmonea.
Why don't you like the suction clam?
Well, I think you can actually suck in. Okay, a lot of clams have little things that live in their holes with them. I'm a little bit of a wuss about killing things too. So when you pull that out, the little ghost shrimp get torn in half, and it's just part of it. You're not killing off all of it. You're eating the clam.
Are you contrasting it with a shovel, or are you just saying we should leave it
Yeah,
alone?
yeah. No. I was contrasting with a shovel. I love clamming.
It doesn't the shovels do?
I think yeah, it's the same. This is a cockle. One of the things with that one is when you suck it all up, then you put it over there, and people don't usually put it back. With shovel, people tend to be a little more careful. Like they take it out, they get the clam, they put it back. Not always. I've seen trying to get a horse clam. Oh man, you could really excavate it. I'm realistic. If I want to eat clams, I'm going to go digging in there. But you know, you have to watch out when you have populations like the Bay Area. They'll get the whole area. And in Alaska, you can fish for clams all year round. You can get 20 Dungeness crabs a day because there's not that many people. But if everyone was getting, what do they get, 40 clams here? I don't either. I mean, I can't eat 40 clams, but okay, this one is a cockle. This one is one of a different one. This is a different species, but I'm just not getting it right. That's a little limpet. And really, you know, if in the world and stuff, you can eat limpets. They're pretty tasty, you know.
In Portugal, they eat them, right?
Yeah, they eat a lot of barnacles.
So what do limpets eat?
They graze on coats of algae that are not necessarily this. There's algae on algae. So there's anything coating the rocks, they will graze.
So little plants, not.
Yeah, no, they won't eat those things. So limpets and snails have a structure in their mouth called a radula, and that scrapes things. What they do is they go. If you go to Monterey Bay Aquarium, they have a nice exhibit with an aquarium with a window, and you can see the whatever abalone or snail eating. And they basically eat, I've been told, like if you had a plate of spaghetti sauce and you put the plate to your face and try to eat it, that's how they eat.
And then this, hey Sherry,
That looks like a little isopod. Yeah, that's like a little pill bug. It's a very little one. So we get bigger ones.
And what part of the limpet would we eat?
You'd eat the big foot, like the base of it. If you, some bigger limpets, I won't.
How big do they get? Limpets.
Well, limpets, you can get they're not that big,
Oh.
but you get enough of them and you have a nice little fettuccine. But they're related to abalone. Isn't that beautiful? Cockle.
So Sherry,
Little
in this one,
baby.
there's one little guy who's just keeps forcing the water to move. It's like,
Filtering?
yeah. So right here. Oh, of course it stopped, but it was right here.
Making bubbles.
And it was, yeah, you'd watch the water move through, and you'd watch sort of a
Yep.
stream of water coming up.
Yep. It's kind
All the
of,
shadows
it's
spook
fun to do if you can get a
them.
clam.
Their shadows probably spook them.
Yeah,
People walking
or,
over
and
there.
the vibration.
Yeah.
You know, when they spit that water out, that really is just them pushing the pressure out and going down low. Yeah. So
Look at this.
yeah, that's a good rock. So these are worms that are inside casings. And, you know, probably not while we're here, but if we could put something like that in water, and you might see the little feather duster part come out.
So there are little things living in there.
Yeah, and if they're not the worm, there's other things living in there. But I think the limpets you can eat of any size. I can't remember, Carol, did you ask about eating limpets?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the limpets and then the chitons. There's a lot of chitons here. A lot of people are familiar with that big gumboot chiton. Have you seen them? They're about this big. People eat them, but I don't think they're as good as the small limpets that are attached. Chiton they have 8 plates, and you'll see their shells up on the casings of them up on the beach. We should find them. Yeah, we'll find some. But they are really good to eat, and the indigenous people in Juneau, they are a big delicacy. They'll come and harvest.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they'll harvest those.
Yeah, there's 2 of them here. I don't know what this one is.
And again,
that's empty.
Again, I am not, the snails, you have a lot of snails here that I don't know that aren't common in Juneau, but I have tried to take pictures of things I find that aren't common. We don't have the same sea star that you have here. That big purple, so that's ochre star.
Do we have invasives that are a problem here?
You have green crab supposedly, but I haven't seen, I think got a little spitter over there. I haven't seen a lot of, what I look for in crabs is their molts. So right around when I was out here for the geology that was canceled, I walked the beach anyway, and there's a lot of little shore crab molts right now. So you can tell the difference, they're different colors. I'm going to head down towards the bigger rocks because they'll have more diversity on the sides. Water, and so we noticed that the barnacles had all settled. So you could tell at the time of the year, all the rocks everywhere, it's non-selective. Everything has a spot on it. So even a crab will have a spot on it. And so once, like a week after that, then we could really, this is a delicacy. So, yeah, this is, it has a kind of a, this is a gilt, fringed chitin. So it has 8 plates, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's a mollusk. It's related to octopus, snails, things like that. And if we, I don't know if I take it, I wouldn't pry it off, but if I could get one off, you'd just see the whole bottom was a foot. It's a big, meaty foot. And so you could pry it out of its little shell, but this is a great size to eat.
So you take the shell off and then just...
No, you would pull the meat, the foot, out of the shell and throw the shell back for something else to eat, and then you would clean it, and it has like all its stomach, like abalone, and take a lot of the guts away, and then you would cut it up and eat it. So saute it.
What do they eat?
These two are grazers. So they're just grazing all day, all night. That's all they do.
What about edible seaweeds?
You know, I know about a couple of them, the ones that are still through the stock, but I don't really know which ones you're using. That would be a good secondary thing. Algal, you know, some of the phycologists would be great to have here. I don't know my algae very well. I know the basics about them, the big ones, but like that fucus is not good to you. It produces a lot of chemicals, and a lot of animals live in that. That's a fucus right there, that brown thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and a lot of animals will live in it because nothing eats it. But I'm pretty sure sea lettuce gets eaten, but by people, I don't know. Does anyone know what edible seaweeds here? I don't think any of these will kill you. But same with the, you know, we don't have a lot of poisonous jellies. Well, we have stinging, but we don't have any like box jellies or poisonous like lionfish things. Most things we could eat here, they're just either not really tasty, because you can eat all the crabs here, but they're just little. Not a lot of meat. More cryptic than the other ones. They're six-legged. But the one thing I love about these, and it is springtime, is these are called egg brooders. Well, most of the other sea stars, they release eggs and sperm out of here, and then they go settle. These guys, anyway, these guys, sometimes you'll turn them over and they'll have a big egg sac here, and so it's a very different physiology.
And how big do they get?
This is about it, maybe a little bigger. They will not get to be very large.
So they're smaller.
And so they eat little crabs. They're more carnivores than that. And sometimes if I look really closely, I'll see some flatworms, or I'm getting to be 67 and my eyes are not as good as they used to be. But I can't remember where I got it exactly, but I'm going to say it here. This is a good rock because it's actually sitting on a lot of rocks, so there's probably a lot going on here. Snails.
Wow.
So these are snails, and they're attached.
Well, look at right there.
Yeah, that's a little, maybe a gunnel. And these are the ones that kids start screaming and they love them.
Who has a little bucket?
I have one right behind me. Here. It does not want to be.
Oh, he's smart. He's going to get away.
He's fine.
Oh, look at that.
I know, he's still cute. There's some that are orange. It's a gunnel, and there's a lot of species of gunnels.
It's like an eel?
It's a fish.
It's a fish.
Mm-hmm. And there's another, so again, when you're starving, you'll be in the know about what to pluck off a rock.
Oh yeah, that guy's moving. And there's a crab in that
here.
snail
See, he's,
shell.
oh yeah, and this guy's trying to sink down like I'm not here, but I see him.
The gunnel's holding really still
Yeah.
now.
This one?
Yeah, that's the best defense of all. Just hold really still.
And it can survive out of water, obviously.
Yeah.
There you go.
Need some water for it.
They're very beautiful. They have these little triangles along the side. Sometimes
how
you'll get a
big do they
beaver. Oh, they'll get about this long, big ones. But some of the times
Get
you'll
a
find
little water from one of those.
You can put it in that water thing with my right behind me.
Edible?
Oh, the fish?
That little.
I would. I probably wouldn't. I don't know if it is or isn't. I don't think they're poisonous.
But how big would they get?
They get to be like that. I don't know. Have you ever eaten fish that just like a weird texture? Like to me, grayling from the rivers. Not a great fish.
Kind of slimy.
Kind of, yeah, mushy. I would say more mushy.
Mushy.
Yeah. So these sometimes this is the time of year too that you start seeing egg cases, and I did see some. But here's a limpet, barnacles, snails, crustaceans, and mollusks.
All on one rock.
Well, that was a real treasure.
Yeah, that's why I look for rocks that are kind of have a lot of space under them,
Big flat ones.
like that. So, you know, some things like those snails really couldn't. Pretty.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
I'll get the molt out of here. He's like, whatever you're doing, put me
So,
back.
He's a fish. And
He is a fish.
It is a fish, and it has to be in water to breathe.
It does. It can stay in an intertidal here, but you're not going to find a gunnel up at the top.
All right.
And you really won't find them under every rock. You'll find them where, like, the little pools.
Water is collecting under them, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to put him here because he'll be happier.
Right. You want happy gunnels.
There. Yeah. But that was another good, where to go? There was a good chitin here that, again, with a knife, you could probably
Oh,
get
it was under
30
the rock.
chitins and have a good meal. But if we all did that every day, might not have any chitins on this beach in a while. Well, there's always 8 plates. There's never an anomaly.
But I do see the plates on the beach and that turquoise
Yeah.
color.
And they
it's
get-
just so beautiful.
And this
Yeah.
is a very specific, this is called a frilled chitin, but the gumboot chitins are orange and they're like this big.
And I thought I found one that was dead and it was all cleaned off, and I thought it was garbage. I mean, it looked like
Oh, you have to get some plastic.
I know. Well, yeah, I find them up in, like if they're weakened, they'll get pushed up in a tide, but I throw them back in the water. I don't think they'll make it really.
like scallops, or
No, but yeah, kind of. Yeah, you're right, because scallops are like, well, scallops have 2 valves too.
Call them a jingle.
Yeah, little oysters, rock oysters or something
I
like
was going to ask
that.
about oysters. Yeah.
Yeah, we have oysters around here, but people are growing them.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a worm.
Oh, yeah. Nice worm.
Okay. Now this is a polychaete worm. Wow. I'm going to go get some water for this one. 'Cause
We have an inflatable boat we can outboard on it.
Oh, crab.
So as you see this.
Crab in the hole.
well, and there's maybe one of those fish down in
Yeah,
here
that's
too.
what I was wondering about that.
Yeah, there's definitely
Way
crab.
underneath there.
Yeah.
oh yeah, another guy. You want to see that one? And then this is a little worm too. These are casings. Well, this is a good polychaete. And they live in these tubes. I won't take the whole thing out.
No, that's
But they will live all the way through here.
Wow.
And what's really cool, I'm going to take him out. Oh, sorry. I may have ripped him in half. No, I didn't. But sometimes you'll see their, like the I can't tell the, yeah.
There it is.
So see that, oh, that just pooped.
Waste.
But these are not burrowing polychaetes, but the burrowing polychaetes are really important for the ecosystem too. But polychaetes, these are the kind of like, I'm going to put him back, but he's not going to do okay.
He's got a lot of work to do now.
Yeah, I'm going to put him back in this way.
You don't like
He's
that.
not going to be okay.
Hey, but probably not.
Yeah.
I just want Bud to know I do kill things.
Oh,
That's
good
all I
job.
can-
Good job, though. You got him in the back, kind of back in there like you want.
All right,
You got
back
a
away.
chance?
Yeah,
You got a
we'll just say he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's gonna be great.
That's a good snail. That's another tube here, and this is a chitin. So you can see the plates. So they're kind of cryptic. This is a small one.
Yeah. You call them a fringed.
Yeah, fringed, frilled,
Because they've got a
frilled. So
frill.
this one's a lot more cryptic than some of them. Some of the chitons we have here are actually coral colored, a little purple. They're called lined. Beautiful. I'll put you back. This is a nice, I don't know what kind of snail.
Don't
You can
smash
see-
the fish.
I will not.
Oh,
Don't say any, but guess what?
Yeah.
Something's going to eat him and be really happy about it.
Yep.
Give him a little water. There we go.
Probably not on the endangered list.
Not at all. I don't know that.
I like the place where the starfish are doing well, from where they need to migrate here.
Well, you know, their babies are in the plankton, they settle, they're going more north, so they're doing very well up in Alaska.
Oh.
Very well. Very well in Vancouver Island, getting better. But they disappeared, I'd say they disappeared from all of Haida Gwaii, which was, and then north of there, they seem to be there.
Oh.
But here, I mean, I've seen them here, but maybe not in the numbers. I've only been full-time here for about 5 years. So.
I remember seeing some with missing limbs. That's the symptom.
Yeah, they get really wasted limbs and. Yeah, I'm just. What a cool rock. Look at that. Okay,
I love that rock.
this could be interesting. I need. I know what I need.
Lifting up.
Yeah.
I would like to get this guy out. This is a Nemertian worm.
Oh, what?
This is a different type of worm.
Oh, different type. I'm going to pull him out of his tube, too.
No, he's not in a tube.
He's not in a tube.
These are called ribbon worms. I want him. I need like a, oh, I know what I can use. This.
Ah, yes. Try to slice him in here.
Yeah, I'm trying not to.
Here I am being worms at.
I do love worms. And this, okay, here. Oh, that, see, there's a
more
lot of them here.
Oh, yeah.
So these, well, this is,
What is that?
these
Wormus-
are so cool.
Wormus longus.
These are called, I won't pull the whole thing out. These are called ribbon worms.
I was thinking spaghetti worm.
Some kind of parasite or something. Yeah, doesn't
No.
it?
These are one of my favorite worms.
Just don't swallow it.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull them. But they get, as you can tell, they get really, in fact, this may be the rest of him over here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're really entangled.
Yeah. And this is another worm.
It's a good defense
I happen to
mechanism.
love worms.
Oh, there's one of those fish.
Yeah, I won't. This is a very different kind of worm. You won't see these, they're not rare, but they're called Nemertian worms. They have a whole different body plan than other worms. And even though everyone just calls them worms because they are, you know, they're long and skinny, they're pretty interesting. They're carnivores. They don't graze, and they have this a mouth part that can really shoot out and take the animal and then bring it all the way back in.
Oh, wow.
And they can be this big, but if you put it into water, it can be this big. And some of them, the really deep red ones, are just, they can be like 12 feet long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what are they called?
They're called ribbon worms. Yeah, Nemertian.
But they behave more like snakes, seems like.
They, gosh, they just are, the ones in Juneau are usually just flat out on the sand so you can pick them up. This guy won't bug him anymore. Try to see what's all here though. There's another worm here. You can see the polychaetes have lines in them. They're called segmented worms like earthworms. So they can burrow really well. They just contract and get long and then big, and so they can make holes and burrow. These don't burrow very well, so you'll always kind of see them. And they can eat barnacles too. They can actually weasel into a barnacle when it's feeding and then eat the body and then pull the whole thing out.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And it's living by barnacles.
Yeah, there's a lot of them there.
Yep.
Or there were.
Here's
Until,
a,
Then maybe empty shells now.
no shortage
so
of barnacles.
here,
either.
what I usually do is try to kind of
Prop it up.
yeah.
Give them some space. Huh?
Give him a little space.
Nice.
Give him a little water.
This one's bigger.
Well,
Help, help.
it's
Get me out of
okay.
here.
Oh, the marine biologists are here. So you can see they get a little bigger. This one looks like a little... Oh, I gotta get this guy. I'm sorry, I gotta get you.
Oh, he's got like a yellow stripe or something.
Yeah,
He's-
no, it
he's
was...
energetic.
This
too.
one was a very cool one if I can get it. Oh,
It's a different.
yeah, it is. It was like a...
Don't wait for him to
I
jump in your
didn't
hand
get
by
him.
accident.
It wasn't the gunnel. It was actually looked like a little sculpin. I don't
Cool,
like
eh?
that.
It's just really active.
Yeah.
And then they hold real still.
So are there
Yeah.
any things you wouldn't want to touch?
Sea urchins I tend to leave. Do you guys have sea urchins here? Do you see them?
Have what?
Sea urchins with all the spines?
I think out deeper maybe.
Yeah, out deeper.
I see pictures, diving pictures of them. But
Yeah.
Not up on the tidelands.
I don't see anything new here. Snails, these. Check. Barnacle.
Are you a diver?
I am a diver.
You are?
Yep.
You dive in sound?
I
dive
do.
here?
I do. I dive at Keystone by the ferry, over at Skyline. Beautiful. But it has a lot of currents over by the Burroughs Channel. And I actually, when I was 22, I won't do it again, I dove at Deception Pass
Whoa.
with a guy I'd never met before at the dive shop. He was a Marine, and the currents there are ridiculous.
What could possibly go wrong? Huh?
Oh my gosh, I was just having a great time at 90 feet, and then the tug, you could feel it. I started, we were crawling up, and at the end, he pretty much just had my back, and he was so
yeah.
strong. I was like,
Just pulled you out. Huh?
yeah, but I
Seems
won't.
like there's some fresh water.
Yeah,
Does that, are there critters with a taste for fresh water?
there actually are. And actually, crabs, when they are about to molt, really don't mind having a little less salty water around them, because it helps them swell up to grow. So a lot of Dungeness crabs will get close to any seepage but rivers. So like in Oregon, even by the bigger rivers, you'll have a lot of Dungeness crabs on the fringes.
And do we see different vegetation in these areas?
As you get lower, this is a little red algae. You're not getting the greens, and the algae are, I would like to learn more about them, but the brown algae are lower and the big algae, because they have the, the basically solar cells, or the types of pigments that absorb light of certain colors, and they like to be in deeper water or closer up here. So that'll determine a lot about where they live.
But where there's seepages?
I don't know that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you go to the store, is it the store? The market sells this. It's called Barnacle Seafoods. They have all kelp products, and they're from Juneau. They're a friend of mine's son started that company, so I'm pretty proud of them. But yeah, they have salsa, but they definitely pickle it.
So as a kid,
group of
before the bubble wrap existed,
all of these
we used to
snails.
It is pretty fun.
So all of
they
it,
popped
having a
just like
family
bubble
reunion.
The big bull kelp we used to jump and crush it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, once they're dead, it's fine. But it is what
We
floats
made
it.
candles out of it.
Candle mold.
Oh, you did? Out of the bull kelp?
Yeah, it's really cool because once the wax dries, you just peel off the.
Why don't we do that one
It
year?
would be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, it is fun. You don't know what it. I know.
Okay, come on, Betsy.
But we did it when we were kids.
I know, and it was one of those things that everyone did. You go to the beach.
sell them at the farmer's market.
Oh, that would be really
Yeah, I
fun.
said,
What do you sell?
Fire
out.
Who does?
It's a fishery. Some people, even sport fishermen, will get red rock crab. So you see the big red crabs on the beaches here. Those are red crab, but they don't have as much meat as a Dungeness crab around their body meat. So you just eat the one pincher claw.
The bigger one.
And so you take one and leave the other.
And then the animal
And then
dies.
they'll die.
Well, if they rip them off, some fishermen do. Some people do know to just kind of press here, and then the crab will release it.
Oh, because he thinks
Yeah.
he's caught.
Yeah. We'll just put him back together. He'll be fine.
Sure.
I forgot to let this gunnel go.
I know, I agree.
Let my gun go.
Let the gun go.
He's going, but where are my friends?
Yeah.
My wife! Yeah. What have you done?
There is right there.
There'll be more of them.
Yeah. He's kind of. These are your pill bugs.
Pill bugs.
Philip's taking all the. Yeah, these are your little
yeah.
isopods. And isopods, actually, their little fun fact is like a kangaroo. They have a pouch, and that's where they keep their babies for a long time.
Is that one moving?
These little things that look like pill bugs. Mm-hmm. Here, here. And this is a little crab right there.
They're quite mobile compared to their neighbors.
Oh, they are. Yeah. This, I don't know what that is. It's a I thought it was a mussel. Yeah, their neighbors are not moving a lot. We'll let them be. You done, Philip?
Yep.
Oh, look at that little guy. He should have stayed where he was, but he'll be fine.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, that's a egg casing. That's an egg casing. It looks like an egg casing from a nudibranch. Not that you're going to see the nudibranch, because they lay their eggs and then go away. Yeah, Philip can see. Yeah, this is a nudibranch egg casing.
Wow.
And so if you were to look at that under the scope,
You see the eggs.
you would see all these little compartments, lots and lots of compartments, each of them having a lot of eggs.
Oh wow.
And every nudibranch has a very specific egg casing. Some of them have a little curly, you'll see a little circle all around. But this one looks like one that I'm familiar with. A little drab little nudibranch.
Oh, crap.
There's a red rock crab.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Is he old or is he?
He's a mole. No, he's whole.
Sorry.
Yeah, he'll be
Time's
fine.
over.
I won't.
We're probably
I
gonna
promise
meet
not to crush him. This here is a nudibranch.
So that could be
Yeah, Dorid.
male or female? Or they?
The crab or the nudibranch? The nudibranch are both.
Well, that's
Yeah, so that's
Trying
kind
to
of a
get
cool
into your
one.
right foot.
I'm gonna lift this up so I don't get him.
Okay.
Oh, you walk away.
and he's over here.
It's right between your feet.
Oh,
He's holding.
he's right by you, Carol.
I know.
Get him.
Get him, get him.
That would just be a little pinch, right?
Oh, someone asked. Yeah. Oh, it would hurt. He's got one claw. But that's a girl. Has a broad abdomen, little point there. Needs to grow your little claw back. So I'll put him back.
Sit on the rock next to Carol right there. Top of that. The blue right there.
Oh, that's a blue. It's a chitin shell.
Oh, right.
Something was eating it,
Oh, okay.
and it
Left behind the
it
shell.
left behind the shell.
Over here on the rock.
Yeah, the gourmet
what?
snap.
Oyster.
Oh, you did? A
Yeah.
little oyster? So these are just like your basic slugs in your garden, but marine slugs are a little prettier.
Sea
I'll
slug.
put it back with its eggs. That way if someone comes for a photo op, it'll be like, there's the nudibranch, there's the eggs.
Nice.
I know, they have, I've seen them on the West Beach a lot more. They have big rocks, and if you get really low, you can see a lot more.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this beach is easy to access, and really, if you turn over enough little rocks, you will find a lot of cool things here.
When you say West Beach, are you talking about the Dalgos?
No, I was talking about like Lervick and going up. Like if you walk from Lervick up towards Clark Point, yeah,
And the rocky sections.
the rocky sections.
How do the limpets reproduce?
All
Very
right,
carefully.
let me think. This goes back to my invert days. So they are mollusks, and they're hermaphrodites, and they have a foot and a claw. Yeah, I'm gonna guess they're like other snails, closer than any other ones, and they will make an egg case. But I'm gonna have to look that up because I'm not really versed on limpets, but they're closest to snails.
And when you say egg case, that's
Right
fertilized?
over here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There are limpets. Limpets are a different order. Like they're all the same class as people categorize animals as snails. But within that group, they divide off a lot earlier. Limpets do than say abalone. Abalone are snails, gastropods.
Are there actual oyster beds where they have oysters?
I think people throw them and they get a bag will get loose.
Yeah, they grow them in bags above.
What, is that a live one?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like, think about it.
Yeah.
It's an oyster catcher.
Oh, there's an oyster catcher. I love those.
A black
Oh, yeah, aren't they
oyster
cool?
catcher.
Yes, they are.
But do they really catch oysters?
Well, I couldn't remember. That was the black oyster catcher, and the other one has a little bit of white.
Oh, okay.
Just
But
an eel?
not all fish are eels.
Is this an eel?
This is a lumpsucker.
Lumpsucker, of course.
And how
And
big
gunnels.
do they get?
Okay.
It's got the sucker there.
There are some big suckerfish diving deep, but not in the intertidal. But you can get them to suck on your finger. It's kind of cute.
Look at it, Sonny.
I knew it. I knew it.
I told you.
I knew it.
I wore my sunscreen and brought my raincoat.
A fan of rain gear.
Northwesterners.
So it's another Nemertian worm. Let me see if I can get him out of there and clean this off. It's another ribbon worm. They're pretty like snotty, but look how pretty and blue he is. Oh yeah. In Juneau, we have 29 different species of Nemertian worms.
Oh, wow.
And I had a guy from Rio de Janeiro. Juneau.
In the world.
In the world there's hundreds. He came. In fact, if you were to look at Google some of the tropical Nemertian worms, they are the ones that are so beautiful and striped. They look like they're like 12 feet long. They're beautiful. This one I've never seen this one. Yep.
Like a flat worm that he's twisting around, like a ribbon that's twisted.
Yeah. So he's they get really short, but they also get really long. So. But they do like to live in the mud. So. But a guy from Rio de Janeiro called up, and he was a scientist, studied me for the Smithsonian, and he came and lived with us for 3 months. And all he did was go collect Nemertian worms. He was so excited. He was so, and he had a helper. She was so cute. She was about 24 years old, and she says, "It's so cold here. Normally I collect worms in a bathing suit." And I said, "Well, feel free. You don't have to dress like me." That was a good find. I mean, the mud also, it may look like nothing, but there is a lot of stuff going on.
Well, we've already seen more stuff today than I've ever seen one of these things.
I'm really hot.
A down jacket and a raincoat. I saw that one.
Did it squirt you?
No, but it was just a huge big squirt. And now you can see it's all kind of, just remembered
Good eating. But they're really cool little crabs. This is here. This is everything but the carapace, so you're not really seeing what you would normally see. This is the underside of him.
somebody had a meal.
Somebody,
Yeah, those birds on here.
they love crabs.
They all.
Casing from a snail. And these are egg cases. And in each egg case, there's probably like 4, maybe 20 potential babies.
Wow.
Yep. Eggs. Now you go put it back where you found it, young lady.
Oh, let's see. I can't remember which
But
rock
every
it was.
snail, and these, yeah, that's fine. Things will eat it. Squid egg cases look a lot like that too. Big, but they're very soft underwater.
So this isn't vegetable, this is
That's animal, and you can actually find yellow ones, and yeah. If you had a microscope, you can squeeze it out, and you see little developing larvae.